As soon as Tracy sits down, we want to give her time to settle in, rest, and... Okay, now you can start. All right, are we running? All right.
Look okay?
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Calling this meeting to order.
Got your cast matches here off the jump.
That's very well done. Let the roll call show that we have no Kennedy and no Mills, but we have enough to get the work done. Open forum. Open forum is closed. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. They are the usual 3. Is there a motion to approve this consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Fantastic. So, moving right along. Resolution 2016-14,
14.
or is it 2016-15?
14.
It's actually 15.
Is it?
Yeah, because this is the resolution right here. Glad I looked at that before the meeting.
You're right.
So, this is the approval of the final 2016 tax levy. The only change that has happened since the last time we looked at this was a modification of the fuel oil expenses for City Hall, which brought the levy down slightly. So we can dig in a little bit more deeply if you'd like, or else if you guys feel at ease with the tax levy, I would entertain a motion to approve the 2016 or 2017 tax levy via resolution 2016-15.
So moved.
So that is a movement. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's movement and a second. Just for clarification, the final tax levy for the city of Grand Marais would then come to $909,993.88.
Yep.
So, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. All right, next item, non-union salaries for 2017. It is our typical practice to offer the same cost of living increase that we offer our union employees to our non-union employees. The request is for a motion to approve an increase in salaries for non-union employees at the same rate as our union employees, which is 2%. Any thoughts, conversations, or motion?
I'm not sure if this is exactly the right time for this conversation, but it's a question or a suggestion. Unrelated to actual wage increases, salary increases, I should say, do we do any formal annual reviews?
We
We haven't done a formal annual review.
This was my suggestion last year and is this year that should be a practice with goals and objectives and opportunities for growth and opportunities for, hey, great job, or this is what we need to work on, whatever, but that should be a part of that.
Yes, I
For
think
both
that,
union and non-union, right?
Well, I'm not sure, and this is where I'm not really clear what our options are with union employees.
Oh, sure.
we have
That
management
way-
rights over them. I mean, doing a performance evaluation is a management right.
Okay.
So-
That's,
so-
I just wasn't sure union-wise, but yeah, I think that's important. I think that helps people know what they do really well and things, here's a chance to do this better, whatever, but I think that should be a practice.
Yep, and there's lots of different ways that we could do this. For instance, the library board does do an annual review of the library director, and we performed that annual review at the end of November, and Director Harzen came back with very good ratings, but a couple of areas of improvement. So I think that it's a very valuable exercise to do. I think that we should continue that conversation.
Well, and if the library board is doing that, and I'm not sure if that really is a library board thing to do or not, but then it would seem all the more important to be consistent across departments. I mean, the library board head should not be having these if no other department head is having them, or the other way around as well. If they are, then it should be consistent.
Well, the boards and commissions, I think that I would agree with you that I think that's probably the best location for those reviews for the heads, for the department heads to happen, would be at the board level. So,
So,
but
yeah.
that's, I'll make a note of that, and I'll make sure that we get that on a future agenda.
Mhm.
So that is well heard.
And you know,
Great.
sometimes that's one thing I think about too with government employees. You don't have the option like you do in the private sector to say, "Hey, great job," and some kind of compensation, whatever. And this is another way, at least, to let them know also when things
That
have
they're
gone
doing
very
good
well,
things, yeah.
and it's recorded down. And if they ever go somewhere and do something, they have a chance to say, "Look, here's ways people said." Good
Well,
job.
and you yourself are the person who, at the beginning of this year, was saying we need to celebrate the good work that the city does more anyway.
Mhm.
So this is,
People
you know,
know.
this is completely consistent with that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
all right, cool. So any other conversations on the non-union salaries, or is the 2% increase, do you think, believe that that's appropriate? You can indicate with a motion.
No thoughts?
I can,
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think, like, I mean, I probably agreed with that when you said it last year. I mean, but I think like that side of the accountability side of things too, and just people want to know what they're doing and how they're,
Right.
you know, and if it never is entered into the discussion, and there's this almost automatic 2% increase every year, it's just that's how you get into like the whole government waste and the whole government just like the lack of accountability, right? When it's just like the set steps that happen every year, kind of no matter what. But I do think it's important that, you know, for the, yeah, it makes sense to, I'd want to know. you know.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a note, work on,
We make a
I'll do
motion,
some-
make a motion to approve, and make sure that it gets put in there that, you know, we really think it's important that, that job reviews or, performance
are
reviews
part of this.
are part of what happens going forward.
And that can be a project this coming year. I mean, everyone has a job description, then we can create a review based on, you know, here's what it is you're supposed to be doing, whatever.
Yeah.
There's some way, objective way to get it all ready. We got time to get it ready in a
Right.
good manner, not rush through something.
okay, so we have a motion to approve the non-union salaries with the rider that, that, you know, we're gonna start working on performance review or performance evaluation, structures.
Mhm.
Okay? I'll second that. Any further conversation? All in favor?
I-
Carries. All right, moving right along. Second reading, ordinance 2016-04, clarifying the rules regarding nonconformities. No changes since the last reading. Got it right here. Does anybody have any? I also, in the meantime, just for the record, I also tried to advertise this as best I could so that people could see the actual language of the ordinance. Because there was a concern that people who have nonconformities on their property are not actually being informed that there's being a change in the nonconformity ordinance.
Can you, I assume this was the last meeting?
Yeah.
Can you just give me a quick, I started reading this and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna ask you guys what that was about from last, I mean, just a little summary.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, really what it is the old ordinance, which you
Mhm.
notice is
Pretty much crossed out.
pretty much completely crossed out, was basically written to deal with specific instances. Like it was not written in a way that it communicated about the nature of nonconformities. It just basically said, these are the things we don't want.
Okay.
And, you know, if these things do exist, then it's a nonconformity. So basically, it's been completely rewritten to include language that explains what a nonconformity is and explains in different situations how a nonconformity will be dealt with or will have the ability to defend itself, you know. And it's a lot of it is basically as an understanding what we already have been doing for nonconformities. It's just that that now we actually have it in a written document that makes sense and that hopefully will make it much clearer for the people who have nonconformities.
And I assume this is just language that's rather common around the state, or,
I believe that
Chris
they,
would have, like, more standard?
I believe they
Is it?
borrowed heavily from
Yeah.
another ordinance, but
Mhm.
but it's been reviewed by Chris, and I think, oh, we don't even have Chris on the phone.
No, Chris
Right.
was not going to be available by phone, but remember that the planning commission held a public hearing.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
had several discussions about it before we even saw it.
Yep.
Sure,
So
okay.
as on large or in large, I think that this is a dramatic improvement over what it was before. And it gives us a functioning understanding of a nonconformity now that we can use going forward. So
Okay.
that's what I think about it.
I think so too. I think they did a really good job with it, and I think it does a much better job of just broadening the scope of of the language. I think
Yeah.
it's good.
And actually making it able to be used as a reference document. Like you can actually reference the ordinance now and say, oh, well, this particular thing would fall into this category. So that I think is very useful.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion or a motion to approve?
I'd make a motion to approve ordinance 2016-04.
All right, motion, is there a second?
Second?
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Wonderful. Any other items? Do you have any other items?
No.
Okay. Council staff reports. Anton, what do you got?
I've got nothing.
Oh,
We haven't had, I didn't have any EDA meetings since the
Okay.
last meeting, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
that, great. Glad to see it. Tracy?
I have nothing. Our North Shore Management Board meeting for December got put back because they ended up with not enough people
Oh, bummer.
for that, so I have nothing there. And I just have one question, but I'll
Mhm.
wait till you get all done.
Well, you can ask it now. You may as well.
I mean, I'm
because-
not, so not as a city council person, but just as a neighbor. I got another request for comment period on Spry's property for sale again. Someone different. Okay, everyone's giving me that look, so.
No, it's sold. Right,
So-
those guys bought it.
So the notice I got in the mail just the other day, it just came in the mail. It
I
just-
haven't seen it.
For a request. It was for apartment buildings and then a small house thing. Maybe that wasn't Bob's property. I thought it was, that they highlighted in the map.
I think,
Oh, for the planning commission?
so it was a public comment on
Yes,
some
I got
kind
it.
of a request that was being made.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's different.
Different property? Or,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I thought I thought the map showed Bob's highlighted, but maybe not, so it's different property then.
I think it is, but I didn't see it specifically myself, but I glanced at it.
Okay.
I think it was a different property.
All right, so that's totally unrelated. Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, you know the guys to check with, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
so
can let you
obviously
know.
it was different then. All right.
All right, so my turn. So, just a few things. First was Patrick. So there was an active living meeting, where we got together with a bunch of the folks that deal with like safety and other such things, like with Grand Portage and with the city and with the county, which was really very nice to have all those people in one room. And we talked about this way of doing policy work that they call HEAP, so it's HEAP, Health, Equity, Excellence in All Policies. And that, yeah, it's a HEAP, right?
All together.
And that was a structure of basically a bunch of questions you ask all the policies that you take a look at to make sure that they're accomplishing what you want them to accomplish. And I thought it was really very interesting. I would be interested in giving you all that information, and I probably will pass that to Mike so that he can get it to you. Because I think it would help us especially as we go out of the comprehensive planning process, that we get more of an understanding of like, why are we making policies? What are the things we want to get out of it, instead of just having, ordinances and policies be made without any kind of really firm finished goal out of it.
Yes, which the planning should tell us.
Which is exactly why we're doing it. I had a CCLEP meeting. They were talking yet again about the residential energy efficiency program funding. They're just going to fund that out of their fund balance. They are really interested to help with PUC projects, which I think they reported. I reported last time as well. And they're doing their building class in February, and they're getting a really strong response about that. So it's really pretty exciting.
Okay.
There was also a meeting that I went to that was talking about walkable communities. So there were 2 of these different meetings on walkable communities. Both of them were attended by over 30 people, which I thought was fantastic. And the person who put it on, Jay Waljasper, basically just like helped us brainstorm some ideas about what are the things that we can do to make biking infrastructure a part of Grand Marais, just naturally a part of Grand Marais, so that there's ways that we can address the concerns we have for the walkability of our city. So one of the things that came up was, potentially having benches on some of the corners halfway up the hill, so that older people have a place to sit, on the way up the hill, and other such things like that. So that was very interesting, and I think that we need to really take a long look at the walkability of our community, especially as we get closer to the Highway 61 redesign.
That was a request when I was on the park board. We had some benches, some garbage cans, and all that along that walkway into the crest of the hill. And at first it sounded very obvious, but then it turned out it was MnDOT's. We couldn't just do it.
Couldn't just do it, no.
Yeah, but true, other people have asked that in the past, because there are more people walking and biking just up that along that hill. So as soon as you put a sidewalk, people use it.
Yeah.
And then they like to have all those little things to rest or
then,
put garbage.
And having the conversation with MnDOT now is the time to have the conversation.
Yep.
So that we can get that stuff put in to the design, and we don't have to fight for it later.
Yeah, and that's a good reminder, because I explained to them they'll have to wait till this project comes through, so we don't want to forget that.
No, we got to bring it up at the right time. So, but that's all I had. Anything else for the comments?
No.
Status on comprehensive planning?
Oh, yeah, I do have another one for comp plans. So we have been continuing to get pretty darn good responses on the survey. Survey numbers have continuously gone up. Well, I mean, that's the way that they have to go.
How long is that open for?
It's going to be open indefinitely. Until we decide that we've accomplished the first stage of the process, and then we're going to put together another survey and run it again to get more pointed, specific policy detail. I have been working. I'm working on scheduling a time with Bev Green to go and sit in with the senior center sometime in January to talk with them about their concerns and needs in the community. We're setting up a time with the Harborview Apartments so that we can get the feedback of the folks that live there. Ruby's Pantry was fantastically successful. I think I mentioned that last time as well.
Oh, for a site to get in.
For a site to get input.
Okay.
Lots and lots of good feedback from that. And there's just been a little bit more of a buzz around a town. I mean, the steering committee members have been doing a fantastic job of getting the information out. And I think that we've kind of hit that critical mass where now people understand that this is happening. Quite a few people don't really truly understand what it is still, but they know that it's happening. So we still have we're still on the uphill side of this. But I think that we're getting pretty close to finishing the first stage of deciding what the values of the community are. And then once we get past that, then we can start putting together more questions that are aimed at creating policy that reflects those values.
Have we gotten to these various nonprofit and other organized entities around the community and gotten their
Such
input?
as?
Well, the Lions Club, the Chamber.
We're going to
It
go
just goes on and
to,
on.
we've hit the chamber heavily.
Mhm.
Visit County has been at several of our events.
Mhm.
We're going to be at a Lions Club meeting sometime in the next month. Mike Carlson has helped us get some scheduling on that. And other than that, I think that we've had some pretty strong participation from folks who are members of those nonprofits. So the nonprofit organizations, I think, are participating pretty well.
But as an entity, like, you know, maybe I'm a part of the art colony, but is the art colony formally
Yeah.
given their, you know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? I'm just giving one
Yep.
example, but all those, there's, you know, we have that long list of nonprofits in this community.
And with the survey and stuff like that, when we were advertising the survey, we kind of targeted the leaders of those organizations. So that, I'm hoping, comes through in the results of the survey and of the activities themselves.
Mhm.
So I think that's my knowledge of it. Anyway. Anything else? Well, it's our last meeting of the year. You guys have a great new year.
Yeah.
Ditto.
All right, we are adjourned.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.